Okay, so welcome to part 5 of this mini-series of videos, and today I want to touch on upcoming patches. Now, I'm going to do focus on 1.4.4 and 1.4.5 in this video. I will do them separately, but there isn't a lot of information on these patches as of yet, so once there is a full patch list and it's on the PTS, then I will do a full review video, of course, because these are going to look like going to be pretty big patches. So now in this transcript that I touched on in my first video, and I'll leave a link to this in the description as of all the other videos. In this, one of the game developers said, all right, so 1.4.4 and 4.5 and beyond, bunch of stuff to go over. We'll get part of it done, and now we'll probably have to come back later. So the same for 1.4.4. They're looking at an August time frame for release, so that's pretty reasonable. They haven't said for 1.4.5. Obviously, they can't say, oh, we're going to release this patch now, we're going to release that one then that one then, and that one then. You just can't do that. It takes time, and especially with 1.4.5 having fortresses, I reckon that's going to take a while to do, because they really need to think about that and make that a good feature. But that's another discussion. They're going to try, they said that for future patches as well, they're going to try and keep it within a 2-month schedule between each patch, which is fairly reasonable, you know. I think that's fairly reasonable to keep up with. So they're going to be doing the normal stuff like scenario shake-ups and things like that. But I'm going to read out the patch list. I'm going to go over each individual thing. So 1.4.4, the bullet point notes for this are CC focus on ranged classes, scenario quest revision to match the rotating playlist. Not really much to talk about that, really. Open RVR campaign, so reintroducing the concept of a defensive win. This is an interesting thing I want to talk about. Survey of war camps and scenarios to ensure all guards are consistent and provide with the protection needed, and also to eliminate roaming guards that serve no purpose at this point. That's a major problem at the moment. People finding glitches into spawn areas and the guards just standing there like just having a good old masturbate in the middle of the scenario. They don't do fuck all. They also want to examine new scenarios based on old areas, e.g. Land of the Dead Library, Tomb of the Vulture Lord. I think also they also need to implement... actually, no, I'm not going to talk about that. That's a whole new video. Fix bugs in Tracker and work on outstanding tome tasks. So really, this scenario is all going to be talking about... we're looking here at new scenarios, again, introducing defensive wins and fixing some of the major problems, such as... glitching into war camps and spawns without being killed. Let's talk about the reintroducing the defensive win. For those of you who don't know, basically there was, I think what they mean by that is keep ticks. If you, for example, if you defended a keep back before they did 1.4, if you managed to successfully defend a keep and leave it defended for X amount of time, you would get a huge renown tick. And I think they're looking at implementing that back in the game, because as of yet, and this was in the transcription again, I'm not going to try and find it because it is a very huge transcription, but they were saying, and they agreed, was there is no reason for you to go and defend a keep. You know, it'd be quick. You're going to get more in it, and this is true. This is definitely true. You're going to get more renown points if you're going to say, right, we won't let you defend the keep. Sorry, you're going to get more renown points if you say, right, we're going to let you lock the zone. We can go to the next zone and start getting some renown off resources. Rather than you going to try and defend the keep against an outnumbered army, you are not going to be able to do it. There's no point in defending. You don't get anything from defending at all. So making a defensive win, I think, is really good. I'm surprised they didn't keep that in, because surely they would have thought, the Mythic would have thought, okay, so we've got this new feature, but there's nothing for people to defend for. What they're defending for, there's nothing. So hopefully that will encourage players to defend keeps again, because defending keeps is really fun. I find it more fun than attacking keeps. So yeah, hopefully that should fix that problem. Survey of war camps and scenarios. Now, recently, especially since they've been bringing back some of these old scenarios, there is a lot of problems with people glitching into the spawn points of the enemy teams. Like war camp and stuff. Now, this has been a major... There's been so many problems in... one of the main problems was Gromwell Crossing, which is a scenario that they had in a few months ago. And you can literally just walk up to the spawn point and you can start killing people, and the guards don't do a thing. They just, like, they look at you and they turn around and they target you, but they don't attack you. So, what's the point in you being there? You know? So they really need to look at that, and hopefully they'll fix that and stop all these cheaters and these horrible people who are just coming in and spawn camping and coming into the spawn and ganking people for no reason when they really don't deserve it because they cheated to get in there. They're also looking at bringing back new scenarios based on old areas. Now, here they put example, Land of the Dead Library and Tomb of the Vulture-Lord. That'd be pretty cool because a lot of places in Land of the Dead are not used. I'd also like to see some scenarios or open RVR campaigns like lakes and stuff based on old PvE areas in the core game. I mean, pretty much 90%, if not more, of the PvE areas in the game are not used, and they never have been used, and they never will be used. And there are some really good looking places. And I mean, if you ever get a chance, if you ever get bored, go have a look in all the PvE zones and just look at some of the scenery. It's just amazing. It is so beautiful. And compared to the PvP zones, the PvE just wipes its arse with it. They look amazing. There's some really nice places, some really nice fights. So again, this is starting to touch on bringing back old content, but if they're bringing back old zones and old areas which are really good fighting zones, heck, I don't care, because they really deserve it, because they are amazing zones. And like I say, if you ever get a chance, go out and have a look at some of these PvE zones, because there's some really nice places you can have a look around. And implementing them into the PvP campaign would be a really nice feature. And finally, for 1.4.4, they're also looking at fixing bugs in the tracker and work on outstanding tome. I don't know what they mean by outstanding tome tasks, but fixing bugs in the tracker. So that's not really major. So that's 1.4.4. 1.4.5 is a little bigger. That's what she said. And this is the bullet points for this is CC focus on targeted changes based on developer discussions and feedback. So that's basically looking at the changes they did in 1.4.4 with the CC focus that I just talked about. And this is the best one, implementing thought features. I did a whole video about this, so I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but that's going to be amazing, hopefully, if they do it well. Examine how to reintroduce guards at BOs and keeps in a manageable fashion based on feedback. Again, that would be really nice, because as I talked about briefly in another video, BOs seem to just be a pointless thing with no guard and that you can just walk up to and take without any competition at the moment. So there needs to be also some fighting based around a BO, because they are really important things in the game. Finished Graveled Caverns. I believe that was a scenario that they started working on, that they said they were going to try and release in 1.4, and they never got around to it. Typical of Mythic. So again, we could be looking at a new scenario there. Fix bugs in tracker again. Work on outstanding tome tasks, whatever they are. And we're looking at very beyond, so maybe not even in 1.4.5, but in 4.6 or 4.7 is crafting and equipment upgrade. So this should be interesting. I don't know how they're going to do this. Maybe they're going to work on such like stats on talismans and how they are crafted and whatever, and different crafting methods and stuff like that. I don't know. So that's version 1.4.4 and 1.4.5. Now, one thing I want to touch on quick is this Graveled Caverns. Like I said, I'm not sure, so don't hold me on this, but I think this is a new scenario that they are looking at bringing back. How can you bring a new scenario back? A new scenario that they're looking at bringing into the game. And I don't mean a revamp of an old area. I mean a brand new scenario, one that we've never seen before, or in a place that we've never seen before. This would be really nice if we could actually get around to actually making this, because they said they were doing it and they never did. It never happened. So again, we're always looking for new content. We've barely had any of it since game release, so I'm really looking forward to that. Also, examine how to reintroduce guards at BOs and keeps in a manageable fashion based on feedback. So I think this is definitely needed, because like I said, BOs just seem the pointless parts of the lakes where you can just walk up to with no competition and take. And when you consider how important BOs are to the zones, they provide the keeps with resources, and without the resources, the keeps can't provide you with a ram, which means you can't take the enemy keep. It all bows down to the BOs. So they need more focal points. They need more competition, even when there's an empty zone. It stops people from capping empty zones definitely by themselves. I'm not going to talk about fortresses. Like I said, I did a whole video about fortresses because that is a really big thing. So there we go. There's 1.4.4 and 1.4.5 and beyond. I'm going to post a link to this in the description, and also there is talk about this in the transcript, which will also have a link for it in the description. And the final video for this mini-series is going to be about your feedback and your questions that you've posted on that video, that mini text video that I posted up. And that might be spread across 2 parts, I don't know. But anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, please rate the video to show that you support it and that you like these sort of videos. And until the next episode, I will see you later.